I don't have firsthand knowledge of what the Hamas leadership is doing. But my job here is to provide historical context.
Yes.
Now, Gaza is not simply a coastal enclave. It's a concentration camp. It was formed in 1948 in the wake of the war that established Israel by expelling, the Israeli military expelled the inhabitants of the area around Gaza and penned them into a concentration camp that we now call the Gaza Strip.
When we say a concentration camp, though, don't we mean by definition an extermination camp like Auschwitz or like Dachau or like Theresienstadt, the concentration camps that meant that most of the people who were admitted to the camps never came out because they were incinerated and killed? And that's not what goes on in Gaza, is it?
That's not what a concentration camp is.
What is a concentration camp?
Was established, usually the genealogy goes back to the Boer War, when the British Empire was fighting the Boers in South Africa, where they rounded up the Boer population and removed them and put them into concentrated camps where they can control a certain population that was designated to be their enemy, to be removed. That's what's going on in Gaza. That is a concentration camp. It's not an extermination camp as of yet, although the latest response of the Israelis may turn it into something like that.
But the Israelis are responding to an unprovoked attack, to a terrorist attack in which Israeli citizens, innocent people, have been slaughtered when they were sitting in a peace festival celebrating music. I mean, what else could they possibly do? What else would they do? What does Hamas imagine that they would do or could do?
Certainly the leaders of the fighters in Palestine would have to have anticipated a massive Israeli reaction.
Yeah.
It's what they do.
Well, it's what anyone does when the country's invaded, isn't it?
But
Israel
has a particular history of grossly disproportionate military actions targeting civilians.
You're surely not saying that today, are you? After what happened?
Palestine and Lebanon and many other countries, Egypt, over the course of 75 years. So you have to look at it from their perspective, the perspective of the people in Gaza who've been caged in, who are not just simply prevented from leaving, or not just simply can't leave, they're actively prevented from leaving on all sides by the Israeli military and the Egyptian military that works with them on one side of it. And the children that have grown up there in the last 15 years have known nothing but continuous operations of the Israeli military using high-powered firepower, jet fighters, indiscriminately bombing one of the most densely populated areas on Earth.
What has been achieved by this, though? What has possibly been achieved apart from slaughter? What's been achieved by this?
Well, the events are still ongoing. We have no idea where this is going, and exactly what has been achieved, we don't know. We know the major thing is that a psychological barrier has been broken, not dissimilar to the 1973 war, the surprise attack of Syria and Egypt on Israel, but this, in fact, far exceeds that, because Syria and Egypt, when they attacked in 1973, they didn't actually attack Israeli territory proper. They were trying to recover their occupied lands from the 1967 war and only attacked in those places. Now here, Hamas has surprised everybody, especially Israeli people, who have been living complacent with the situation, which is unsustainable, which is the continuous occupation for 56 years of Gaza and the West Bank and the Golan Heights.
I'm not sure that many Israeli activists marching for peace, dedicating their lives to try to bring about peace, would describe themselves as complacent, or indeed whether it's possible to live in Israel and be complacent with the constant sounds of rockets overhead.
I'm not sure how many.
I'm not sure, but